Matthew 24 and verse 14, coming from the New Testament, the writings of the apostles, from the words of Jesus Christ. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world, and then shall the end come. I greet you this morning in the name of I am that I am, that is my name forever. The name you shall call me from generation to generation. Say unto the children of Israel, I am, have sent me unto you. That is the name that's written in the English language today. If you know anything about the Hebrew Bible, the Most High doesn't have an English name. He has a Hebrew name as well as his people. The language is Hebrew. According to Acts 26 and verse 14, the Apostle Paul heard Christ speaking unto him in a Hebrew tongue. So he communicates with his people in that language, although we have the Greek and Latin language, because there were two nations, people that spoke in the Greek language as well as the Latin language. But Christ made it very clear through the Apostle Paul that he spoke in a Hebrew tongue. He spoke to his people in that language, as well as Paul, when he would encounter the Jews, he spoke in a Hebrew tongue to his people. Paul was able to speak the Greek as well as the Latin language. Okay, so I'm going to share some quick biblical insight on the gospel of Christ. If you know anything about the gospel of Christ, salvation, according to John 4 and verse 22, was only for the Jews. So when Christ came on the scene, he went looking for his people. They were known as the lost sheep from the house of Israel, according to Matthew 15 verse 24. And he answered and said, For I have not sent but unto the lost sheep from the house of Israel. They were lost because the shepherds led them astray, according to the Tanakh, the writings of the prophets. Jeremiah 50 and verse 6 says, For my people have been lost sheep, that shepherds led them astray, and causing them to roar on mountains and valleys and hills. They have forgotten their resting place. The resting place would be Jerusalem. That's the city where he chose to leave one tribe, which would be the tribe of Judah, as well as his name there, and that would be the tribe of people that he would be that he would interact with, and they would be the ones who would hear the gospel that he was proclaiming throughout Galilee, as well as receive the miracle signs and wonders that he performed throughout his ministry. He was only sent to the lost sheep. They were scattered everywhere when he came on the scene. So he went looking for his people. Very easy to understand his ministry. So if you are from the tribe of Judah, if you trace your lineage back to the seed of Abraham, then your ancestors will be the ones who witnessed his death, burial, as well as his resurrection. The apostles, he only commissioned them to go right back to the regions where his people were residing at to preach. He gave them a message. He said, as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Now, Matthew 24 and verse 14 is the final message that's going to be proclaiming throughout the world. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world, and then shall the end come. So, if you know for sure that you are a blood-born Hebrew Israelite, and you know that you can be traced back to the tribe of Judah, the seed of Abraham, then Matthew 24 and verse 14 is still talking to you today. So you qualify to preach this gospel. Not everyone qualifies to preach it, because he did not commission his apostles to preach it to the world. He only commissioned them to preach it to the tribe of Judah. That's who he was talking to throughout his ministry. So he only died for them, according to the writings of the apostles, as well as the Roman Empire. They know it. They're the ones who crucified him and put an inscription above him after they finished nailing him on the tree, saying, this is the King of the Jews. So they would be the ones, if you know for sure you are from the tribe of Judah, only ones qualified to preach it and give you a biblical understanding of who Christ is and why he came to redeem his people. If you want to really get some biblical insight, you need to make sure that you are under a blood-born seed of Abraham descendants, and someone that can be traced back to the tribe of Judah. If you want to get a accurate and biblical understanding of Christ's ministry, because he did not die for the world, not according to John 17 and verse 9. I pray for them, I am not praying for the world. He was only talking to his disciples, those who were chosen to receive his ministry, as well as his people. Salvation is only for the Jews. Okay, so I pray that this short, brief insight gives you some spiritual motivation to want to go back and reevaluate history, as well as the Hebrew Bible, so that you can get a biblical understanding of Matthew 24, verse 14. Shalom.